Mercedes will not be able to compete with Red Bull, according to Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen feels that Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes' competitiveness in 2022 will be determined by whether or not the Brackley team understands their challenges. Verstappen dominated the 2022 season, winning a record-breaking 15 Grand Prix en route to his second consecutive title and 454 points, a new F1 record. Lewis Hamilton, the Red Bull driver's main adversary in 2021, had the worst season of his long career, failing to win a Grand Prix for the first time and finishing a career-low 6th in the Drivers' Championship. This was due in part to Mercedes' W13 having a fundamental flaw fault that was initially concealed by porpoising. Mercedes is sure that they'll be able to re-enter the race with Red Bull and Ferrari in 2023, as Hamilton pursues his 9th World Championship, but Verstappen is unconcerned. It is difficult to say where Mercedes will be, as at the end of last year, sometimes it looked like they had it together, sometimes not, the Dutchman told media at the livery launch of the RB19. From my side, it's difficult to say because I'm not part of the team if they have fully understood everything, but I guess we'll find out this year if they did fully understand everything they wanted to improve on the car. For sure, they will be a main rival, but I also think Ferrari will be strong. But how strong is difficult to say. But Mercedes have shown over the last few years that they've always been really strong and they have a good group of people as well. But I trust my people in Milton Keynes, that they've bought a very strong car, together with our engine as well, and I hope we have a strong package against them. If Verstappen wins the 2023 championship, he would become only the 5th driver in F1 history to do so, joining Hamilton on that list. The 25-year-old would follow in the footsteps of Juan Manuel Fangio, 1954 to 1957, Michael Schumacher, 2000 to 2004, Sebastian Vettel, 2010 to 2013, and Lewis Hamilton from 2017 to 2020 by winning 3 titles in a row. But he's more concerned with the team producing a decent chassis. "We'll work hard as a team to try and make sure that we have a chance to fight for it again," he said. "But only time will tell. I'm not even thinking about these things at the moment, because it is more important that we just focus on having a competitive car. And if we have a competitive car, then these things can happen. But it's more important for us now that we just make sure that the car is running well with no issues, and that it's quick at the end of the day." Well, how good could the RB19 be? The RB18 already looked like the full package. What is left to upgrade for the team? The RB18, with which Red Bull Racing won both World Championships in 2022, had few flaws. But it did have one glaring limitation: its weight. It was one of the heaviest cars on the grid, but Max Verstappen believes that will change in 2023. The RB18's major restriction was its weight. It had an effect on the car's agility, as well as its speed. Once we started to get rid of the weight, the car became more agile, Verstappen explained to the media. According to Verstappen, the new Pirelli tyre composition, which lies between the C1 and C2 compounds in terms of hardness, making it the second toughest compound in the spectrum, might also play a role in boosting agility and minimizing understeer. "With the new tyres, I think it is a little improvement," the Dutchman said of the new compound. "We only tested it fully in Abu Dhabi. We have to see it on every track that it works everywhere," the 2-time world champion continued. Moreover, weather conditions and asphalt temperatures can affect tyre performance. "But I am confident that everything will be heading in the right direction," concluded Verstappen. Max Verstappen revealed he's under no additional performance pressure as he competes for his 3rd world title. Sky Sports spoke with the Dutchman on his hopes for next season and his approach to the struggle. Verstappen stayed composed and unfazed, as we have come to expect from him. Only 10 drivers have won more championships than Verstappen, with 5 of them winning 3: Jack Brabham, Jackie Stewart, Niki Lauda, Nelson Piquet and Ayrton Senna. So many renowned names in the sport, to which Verstappen might be added in 2023. But Verstappen isn't under any more pressure as he competes for his 3rd world title. "My favourite number is of course number 3, jokes the Dutchman. I mean, you'll always try to go for it, but I don't know if we're going to be good enough. Of course, as a team, we believe we are. We're very motivated. We've come off the back of a very strong year. We're working flat out to try and achieve that. Everyone back at the factory, the whole winter, was working flat out. And once I came back from holiday, I was also working flat out to try and be in the best shape possible. And once you're back in the car, it's go time and you have to deliver." Something else that has come up in the recent interview with Sky Sports was all the noise between the FIA and F1. The FIA's relationship with Formula One has recently become strained. The FIA's president, Mohammed Ben Sulayem, had made remarks concerning a possible sale of the sport that Formula One and rights holder Liberty Media did not agree with. Verstappen was asked if he had a view on the problem as the reigning world champion. But as is frequently the case with such topics, Verstappen remains silent. I think a good relationship between the two sides is important. Of course, they're talking, and I'm sure they also want to have a good relationship. So yeah, let's hope that will be resolved soon. So Verstappen has high hopes for himself, but keeps it cool. Someone that's not keeping it cool and is expecting the absolute best only from his drivers is Christian Horner. Christian Horner has revealed that he has high expectations for Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. While he feels the Dutchman has already proved that he's always improving, he also sees Perez progressing. As a result, the team's boss believes that Red Bull Racing will be able to create an even stronger season in 2023. Horner was thrilled by Verstappen's victory over his 2021 opponent Lewis Hamilton. In an interview with Auto, Motor and Sport, he disclosed that the now two-time world champion performed even better a year later. I think that's the exciting thing with Max, that as he gains experience, he just becomes more rounded and versatile, and just deals with pressure incredibly well. What he's achieved has been phenomenal. The team leader analysed Verstappen's development. Next to Verstappen, Horner is pleased with Perez. It took Red Bull a long time to find a partner who would complement Verstappen. Horner is pleased with Perez's performance in his present capacity. Horner claims that he's getting acclimated to the Austrian configuration, which he had to adjust to in 2021. I think Checo has handled that very well. Of course, he was an integral part of us winning the Constructors' Championship and finishing a very close third in the championship drivers last year, winning 2 Grand Prix. And whilst the Red Bull drivers line up on the grid won't change for the upcoming season, they will have a familiar face as a backup driver in the form of Daniel Ricciardo. Anyone recalling the time when Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo both drove for Red Bull Racing recalls the two frequently joking about. Ricciardo was released by the team at the end of the 2018 season. Years later, he's once again a co-worker of Verstappen's, and he has nothing but praise for the Dutchman. In 2018, their friendship was put to the test after Ricciardo crashed with the rear of Verstappen's car in Baku, resulting in both teammates being DNF. Despite this, the Australian is certain that their connection has not been harmed. He tells Motorsport Total. He did mention that they're still competitors in racing, but they have a good personal interaction. After a few years driving for Renault and McLaren, the Australian will occupy the spare seat at the Austrian team next year, and he's looking forward to working with the Dutchman again. It's really nice to be back here, obviously with the team, but also with Max. I also think that in the few years I've not been with the team, I've been able to see how he's grown, how he has matured. Certainly as a driver, but I think also as a person. Ricciardo feels that winning 2 world titles hasn't improved the Dutchman's personality. He also said that interaction with Verstappen and Sergio Perez would increase once he begins heavier training in the simulator. Will Checo have something to fear for? We don't think so for now. And what do you think? Will Red Bull be blazing fast once again? Or will they indeed receive competitiveness from Mercedes and the other teams? What does your Drivers' Championship look like at the end of the year? Let us know your top 5 in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.